We're Batman at 89. Hello and welcome once again to Batminute 89, the show that rings your bell 3 days a week. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am the other host, Niall McGowan.
I think I may have done the bell ringing gag once already, so we may have to change it in post, but that's fine. We are joined once again, one last time, sadly, for now, by very special guests. We have Murren Kennedy and Jessa Lowe from Point Break Minute.
Hello.
Thanks for having us back again.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Minute 105 of Batman. The minute starts with the cops moving into position, and it ends with them almost dying. Good work, guys. Top notch.
It's one thing, straight off the bat, as it were.
Oh.
This is a thing. Again, Commissioner Gordon launching into action, much like Captain Kirk in the Enterprise, insisting that he has to go down and all the away missions, even though the captain of the ship would never do that. Gordon, instead of getting like anyone beneath him, like a captain or a lieutenant or even just the head of the SWAT team, he himself, portly old commissioner guy, must be 2 days away from retirement, and he's the guy taking charge. Like really, just he's walking with purpose as well. He's really like, damn it, I'm gonna get this.
Oh yeah.
I've been torn away from my cottage cheese. I'm had to come down here. It's near 1 a.m, damn it.
Do you think he eats cottage cheese? What do you think his favourite meal is?
Should this be a new segment? What's every character? I imagine.
What does his character eat?
Well, I mean, we already know Mayor Borg's hot dogs. Like we got that sorted.
Hot dog.
Yeah, I think we have covered what Batman would eat quite a bit because I think we just always landed on whatever Alfred gives him is whatever. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Eckhart would have been.
What was it in Lego Batman? It was the lobster bisque.
Oh yes, that lovely soup he had going on.
Reheated.
I actually can imagine the Joker would be a guy with a high class taste. I think he might veer into lobster as well. Because he would be like...
I was thinking more like Hannibal dishes.
I don't know if it'd be quite that level of caring about it, but you never know. Maybe if he got someone... You imagine Bob is in slaving over the stove. And then...
Oh, Bob.
But I can imagine like maybe he goes for like the most sadistic things he can think. Like, he really loves veal and stuff. Whatever I can imagine is the most like, give me my foie gras.
Foie gras, yes.
Yeah.
Whatever he knows involves, some level of horror to it. He's like, all the better. Like, if I can taste the suffering, that's just an added bonus.
Well, I love here, of course, you've mentioned Gordon springing into action. It's the first time we've seen him do anything since him bursting into the chemical plant. It's the first time he's had any agency.
Yeah, maybe that's why Pat Hingle's so like, yes, here we go. Like that's why he's putting so much determination into the walk. He's just like, I want the role that was written for Robert Redford, damn it. And this is the only shining bit of it I get.
He just swans in. Guess who's back?
But Gordon just in fine style. I'll have to say I appreciate his scarf there as well. It looks like a fan. And his hat, actually. I'm a fan of this Gordon getup, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah.
It's a nice hat, but it's...
And he still has the pajamas on underneath that.
Totally.
Yes! That'd be amazing. I'd love it if he just completely lost the coat at some point and he just had these terrible pajamas, like children's pajamas.
Yeah. With little bits of cottage cheese dribble.
Yes. Just all down the front.
Well, so we got him coming, and then of course we got the Joker finally at the top of the stairs.
He made it.
Yeah, it gets up with a blast of organ music from Danny Elfman there as well.
Oh yeah! As soon as he opens that that trap door, the music just bam straight away. I love it.
Yeah. It's another, just adding again to the intense. I was going to say gothicity. Gothicness, I guess, would be a better word. It might be a word that actually exists. But
it does now. It also felt to me, again, like a play or something, because the little trapdoors sometimes they will emerge from. Often villains, I find. I don't know a lot about stage plays, but it always seems to be villains when I come out of the trapdoors.
I did get to do that on stage. I was very proud. Not as a villain, though.
See, maybe my theory of it being villains is lost. But
I think you're onto something there, especially in sort of the old.
I think,
old
or
theater.
clowns.
Clowns, yeah.
Yeah.
In this case, both.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Joker's style, and especially in this scene, he just looks like a pimp from a 1970s blaxploitation film. Like the big hat, the purple coat, the flower.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. The only thing I would have liked is if it was a full kind of zoot suit. I would have really dug that even more.
I was really imagining though how much better
Yeah.
the film would have been had it been like they lent into that and like the Joker was a full-blown blaxploitation pimp and they had like Bullhorn from Black Dynamite was Bob and stuff and he was just doing
Yes.
all the...
Yes.
And when you said zoot suit, I started imagining Edward James Olmos as the Joker, and that would be something to see.
Oh, yes. And he really rocked that zoot suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I think the zoot suits always make me think of there's an episode of Tom and Jerry, like a really old one, where like I think it was Tom overhears to attract a female cat. He has to dress up to the nines, so he makes himself a zoot suit, and it's just like a zoot suit. Sorry, and it's just like it's because it was obviously made in like the late 40s or whatever. It's just filled to the brim with like old slang because he's trying to attract this other cat, and she's just like, "Boy, are you corny? You look like a square at the fair." And it's just like coming out like a goon from Saskatoon. It's like no one has said this in like well over 50 years. Like,
That's awesome.
Then I just think of The Simpsons when Bart's doing all the carny lingo. Call people rubes and stuff.
it's like time we can bring it back. This is it. We're bringing all that old 1940s lingo back.
Hell yeah.
As of this podcast.
All thanks to Joker. Although they did go a bit too heavy with the kind of pimp thing, again, in Suicide Squad, where they made him like a modern gangster pimp kind of...
Yeah.
With the grill.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling those tattoos, I'll be honest.
Let's say I could actually forgive the grill because I think they said the logic behind that was that he had his teeth knocked out by Batman.
That's cool.
Oh, okay.
I get,
Yeah,
and
that
I
has like
was,
an interesting backstory.
Yeah, and I was convinced in the lead up to it that like, oh, there's bound to be a scene of him like killing someone, and then you see him smiling, and then you got a close up on the smile, and you see their reflection in the metal. That would be a really cool thing to add. Nope. Not in the movie. And it's like, if I'm coming up with better things that's actually in a Suicide Squad movie, you're in deep, deep trouble here, okay? Yeah, I didn't get this whole, like, he's an actual functioning gangster. Like, they seem to be like, other people have legitimate dealings with the Joker. And I was like, I don't think that's a way you could go with a character, but I do not agree.
It takes away the mystery.
Yeah. If he's just some dude they're doing like drug deals with or something, it's like, well, that's not exciting or interesting or new or different.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say like, it's kind of like you're dealing with like Joe Pesci in Casino, because he's like, he's a gangster, but he's really, really crazy. But you want the Joker to be beyond that as well. Like, you want him to be like, he doesn't fit into your organized crime syndicate. Like, he's beyond that. Like, he can mess around with that because he knows how. But he's obviously...
Well, I guess that's what David Ayer knows, so that's what he writes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. He has messed around with that, though. He's got damaged written on his head. Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, boy.
Anyway.
Back to a good Joker. Anyway.
Yes.
Yes, good. Oh, yeah, he's climbing up. I have some info about these bells, but I'm saving them for a later minute. That's going to come up. That's just a little teaser for you. I'm gonna drop some bell information, some bell knowledge is coming soon. Coming
Gotta keep
next
listening.
week. Keep listening. It's interesting. It's going to be about like the weight of the bells.
Oh.
Yes. But Gordon bursts in, and he actually has a plan, as we've been saying. He's a bit more like the normal Gordon. But then I've seen this movie a million times, and I always forget that this happens. Joker grabs the flower that he's wearing, and he sprays the acid out of it onto the support for the bell, and it just falls. I never remember this, ever. Every single time, I'm like, whoa.
Well, what is that fact? even after he does it, the Joker seems to have forgotten that he's done it. Because he does it, he turns around, and then when it goes, he has a kind of reaction of like, wait, what? Like, what happened there? Like, he has to turn around to see what it was.
Well, it seemed to me he was just surprised by how fast it worked. Like, he was like, oh, must have been kind of a rusty bell to begin with. That acid just took 2 seconds.
Like, maybe he had a zinger. He's just like, I'm going to drop, time for the bell to drop, honey, or something like that. And it's just like, before he even gets to that, it's like, oh, it's gone. Oh,
dang it.
And it's just like a light little steamy piss of an acid that gets like tossed out there. Like I don't know, his facial expression to me is just so casual. Like, oh, I'm just peeing.
Yeah, he has like a little bit of a look on his face when he starts squeezing the flour, and then gets the shot of it hitting the bell, and it does kind of look like a pee stream.
It does. I think maybe that is a little part of it. Again, he wants it to look like that. It's kind of he's trying to. It's kind of like peeing up the wall, you know. another competition almost.
He's marking his territory.
He is. He's like an animal. He probably would see himself in that way. Because he's creating a new world anyway. He doesn't want people to be like people anymore. He's done with that. It's over.
But I also, just, for my own edification, did a little check. And I'm guessing that the type of acid he's using would be a hydrofluoric acid. Because that eats through metal and glass, but not plastic. Because obviously, otherwise the flour and whatever container he has to keep the acid in would be wrecked. Although the idea of keeping something that close to your chest, it's just like, well, it's in a little plastic, bottle or something.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, he's like going through a revolving door, and it just bursts as he's pushing into it. Like, oh crap!
Just be really tense all the time.
And that's the acid that's used in Breaking Bad. Is that right? If either of you guys have seen that,
I've seen it. But
yes, I think so,
Okay.
because Walter White says to Jesse that he needs to get a tub from the hardware store.
and spoiler alert,
It specifically has to be
And
plastic.
then Jesse was like, "Oh well, I can just use the bathtub. That'll be fine." And it's not fine.
Yeah, I guess that would. I actually didn't think of that, but that would be. Yeah, that'd be exactly what that.
Yeah, it sounds like the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense, actually. I hadn't even remotely considered that. Ooh.
But then also thinking, little side tangent of thinking of the Joker in a church with acid. I believe in Arkham Knight, the game, there's one point the Joker mentions that he, at a baptism, swapped the holy water for hydrochloric acid. And this was a crazy joke to him, which is a pretty nasty joke to play when someone comes in to baptize their kid, and they're actually doing it with acid by mistake. So
That's really dark.
Well, that's the Joker.
Jesus.
That's our Joker.
Yeah.
Would it not as well be really easy after you've sprayed this to kind of drip it on yourself?
Yeah, but
Like, it would go all over the place. Like, I have problems just like pouring a pot of coffee. It always seems to end up dripping down the damn pot. But like, you'd have to give that a real good shake afterwards.
Yeah.
Like you're at the urinal.
yeah, if it was a cruder movie, they could have done like a real pee motion, and then him actually having to do the old shake just to emphasize the point. But I guess they were like, no, we're trying to be classy here. Come on.
Yeah, well, that giant revolver was in his pants. They could have had, like, just everything comes out of his pants. That would have been, a little bit of a different movie to go that far with it. But yeah.
Then, of course, as we mentioned, the bell drops. It goes tearing down through the various floors the Joker's just walked up, and Batman himself just manages to get out of the way and cling onto the wall in order to not be felled by the bell, as it were.
Well, what do you think, all of you, his plan is with the bell? Like, is he just trying to create some chaos and confusion? Like, he only thinks Batman's in the cathedral, doesn't he? Or does he know the cops have come inside? Is he trying to
I bet he's heard
delay
them,
them?
don't you think?
He might have heard the sirens, that's true.
I guess it could be, one, he could be like, well, yeah, this will potentially take care of that Batman guy. And then it is just an added, they'll most likely block the doorway. So he is thinking far enough ahead to be like, yeah, this will take care of me for a while. Like, that's a bit of added security. And maybe this was a thing he was planning all along, because that's why he has that sort of weird sort of ho-hum expression when he's doing, because he's just like, yep, just get this out of the way and we're done. This is kind of, he's already thought ahead enough to be like, yeah, that's how I secure my exit from this whole this whole kit and caboodle, basically. But well, you guys are here though, because we actually do get a brief shot of Batman here as well. I thought it'd be appropriate to bring up, and weirdly enough, of all the people we've gone through, of like who could have been cast in what part, and we've done Knox, and we've done the Joker, and we've done Gordon. I don't think we've ever touched upon the other people who were up for playing Batman.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
This is always a fun game to play, so yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Well, we did mention a couple in like minute 1
Yeah.
or the minute 0, but we didn't go into the full.
Yeah. But, amongst them, this isn't the full list either. But most appropriately, because you guys are here, person who was up for it was Patrick Swayze, which would have been...
Really?
Yeah. And actually, I can kind of see it. I could be like, I could buy Swayze as Batman.
I could see that, yeah.
He's usually such a lovable guy, but it's like, no, he has a darkness and stuff to him as well. And again, within Point Break, spoilers, John, if you don't want to know anything about Point Break, but Patrick Swayze turns out to be the villain. And you have this balance of being like, oh, he's a really nice guy, but then he's also like, no, he's also like a criminal mastermind. And there's periods of that movie where Brody goes a bit crazy and he gets a bit reckless and stuff, and you can see that transformed into
a bit.
Plus, he is ripped as all hell as well, so that adds a lot of a lot of credibility to him playing the part.
I could see him as Batman, and like from Roadhouse too, he kind of has that I'm a loner.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of feel to him.
He would bring a spirituality to Batman.
Yeah, if you want to see Batman doing Tai Chi, doing Tai Chi while drinking chai tea, then we get Swayze doing that.
That would have been though like perfect for the trans Batman. This is like people are like, oh sir, the bat signal's out. It's like, I'm just going into my trance, Alfred. Like, you just have to hurry.
Yes.
No.
Well, I drink chai tea and I do Tai Chi.
Oh.
So,
You may be Batman.
Maybe.
I think we found who it is, yeah.
We haven't had a British.
We had Christian Bale, British Batman. So
No, but playing it as.
Oh yeah, right. I think you'd be obligated to do the accent, John. Come on.
Oh no.
But other people apparently up for it. Not so hot on. Emilio Estevez.
Oh no.
I could see it, kind of. I kind of like Emilio.
I like him. Not in this part. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't see it. But then people couldn't see Heath Ledger playing the Joker, and that ended up being great. So.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, but Emilio Estevez is no Heath Ledger. I mean,
but I mean, if Emilio's on the ledge, I don't think this one's gonna land at all. Matthew Broderick.
Oh,
No.
jeez.
What?
No.
Yeah.
God, was he just up for everything?
Because he was also up for Johnny Utah.
Yeah, he was up for Keanu Reeves' role in Point Break, apparently, which also is very hard to imagine.
Yeah. Although I can imagine him doing it differently. Like, I can imagine him as a kind of wide-eyed, naive FBI guy getting swept up by these cool surfer guys. But then,
and I guess with Point Break, you can make the character whatever you want.
Yeah.
But this is Batman.
I suppose you'd have to alter, like, there's already enough trouble in Point Break when they keep saying, like, oh, come on, you're the quarterback jock to...
Yeah.
It's like, he doesn't look like he's a quarterback jock to me. But,
Yeah, Matthew Broderick even less so.
Oh, yeah, for Tim, it's like, no, not a chance. Like, maybe the water boy. Maybe.
I have enough trouble imagining Matthew Broderick in movies that he is in.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine him in bloody Godzilla, but he's in it.
So you remember that Ferris Bueller was a really cool character, and you're like, Matthew Broderick played that guy? I can't imagine that at all.
But that's another case of one of those where when you're a kid, you think, oh, he's the coolest guy ever. And then when you get a bit older, you are like, I don't know, he's a bit annoying, actually.
Yeah.
I had the misfortune of seeing Ferris Bueller as an adult for the first time, and I was just like, I hate this guy.
You didn't like it?
Yeah.
He's just a jerk.
See, when you're a kid, though, you're like, oh, I want to be
Yeah,
him
you
when I'm older.
definitely want to be him. I think if I'd seen it younger, I would have really liked it. But yeah, it's a bit too late for me. And I was like, oh, I like the sister. She's cool.
the sensible
I was on her side the whole time, pretty much.
I think it's almost like the curse of pretty much all John Hughes films. It's just like, if you see it when you're a kid, it's amazing. And then if you see it when you're an adult, like I saw The Breakfast Club when I was like 15, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, imagine now as you're older, you're just like, these damn whinging kids. I mean, like, it's like, well, fair enough. John Bender and Ali Sheedy, they've got problems. I understand that. Like, well, your parents completely ignore you, and one of them is just a horrifically abusive family. The other ones are just like, just talk to your parents. Why are you whinging so much? And then, of course, Ferris Bueller as well is like, when you're a kid, cool guy, and then later on it's like, this little friggin' piece of crap, like this spoiled brat, white privilege on toast. This guy, like, that's all he is, just wafting around, just like pissing away at education that his parents are paying for, with his super rich parents that he just gets to take advantage of. And he wrecks his friend's car. It's like, what the? Yeah. And
So would Batman though be John Bender?
Oh, actually, like Judd Nelson is Batman. That would have been an interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I like that.
I could see that. Yeah. And then maybe you would find Batman sexy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was kind of handsome.
He was.
Judd Nelson sexy. I can't get bored with this.
He was kind of cool, kind of handsome, but
he's like the bad boy in that movie, right?
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
Oh, he's totally handsome. Yeah.
He has the trench coat and he pumps his fist in the air at the end.
Yeah.
He's also got that thing within the Breakfast Club of being like the oldest looking teenager there because he's got visibly gray hair. It's like,
yeah,
cut that lock off at least. I mean, come on.
Maybe he dyed it in. It looks cool.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. He was going for a rogue look.
Yeah, he was going for he really liked rogue. He wanted to do that.
Although, again, Judd Nelson as Gambit, but he would have. Actually, no, I don't know if he's charming enough to be. I think you need a.
Are you just saying that because of the coat?
No, you're talking about Rogue, and then I got the white the thing in the hair, and then it's like, yeah, well, do coat Gambit. All right, well. But no, I don't know if he's suave enough. But anyway, also other people, Jeff Bridges was considered for playing Batman.
Wow,
I would 110% be behind that.
That would be something else.
Jeff Bridges in any parts just like, yep, yeah, fine, let's go.
He's a very good actor. I think it would be different, but
he'd be the chillest Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
I could imagine him doing the trance.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Jeff Bridges sleeping tapes?
No.
He released this thing. I got it for Jessa's birthday. I don't know if you've actually ever listened to it. Totally fine if you haven't. But he released these, like, I don't even know what they are. He's recording this, like, he's telling stories, and it's kind of like just this meditative, like, stream of consciousness, and he's just recording himself talking.
He has a beautiful soul.
And it's supposed to, like, you're supposed to fall asleep to it or meditate to it or something. And it's something else.
See, the internet's ruined me now for, like, I can't trust anything. Because if I was in that, I'd be like, he's going to scream at some point. There's going to be some sort of, those old videos of like, hey, look at this thing. And then it's a screamer. And the whole time I'd be like, he's going to do something. I know he's going to do it. Like, that's why even with like torrenting sites and stuff, when you're downloading something, I've always got this thing of like, what if some guy was just like, I'm just going to edit in a screamer into the movie, and then people will be sitting watching it, and all of a sudden this thing will happen on the TV, and it'll be hilarious. I won't get to see it. Much in like an Andy Kaufman-esque kind of way, like, hey, I just know what's happening, so it's hilarious to me that this has happened. But I always have that slight bit of tension of like, this is, you don't know who's tampered with this. So I'll be way too tense listening to. I'd like to think I trust Jeff Bridges more than most people, but I still will be tense the whole time. It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe he's gonna, you don't know, he could friggin' drop his microphone or something any goddamn minutes, and then it'll be a whole big pong out of nowhere.
Well, now you're gonna have to listen to it, definitely, if you haven't.
Yeah,
I recommend it. It's pretty trippy and kind of calming. He has a great voice.
Other people on the list, you're gonna love this one, John. James Belushi. Which I don't believe that's true. I think that's an IMDb fabrication. Like, there's no way that was
amazing.
That's even farther fetched than Matthew Broderick.
One of those actually I think is a good shout if you've seen him in the right part is John Hurd, who most people would know as Kevin McAllister's dad in Home Alone. And the thing is, like, you think of that and you're like, oh, what? But there's a great movie he's in with Jeff Bridges actually called Cutter's Way, where he plays like a kind of a mangled Vietnam vet who comes back and he's got like an eye patch and one arm and stuff. And And John Hurt is fantastic in that film, and he's really grizzled and gritty and hardened, and he's just an embittered guy. And from that, I'm like, oh yeah, totally, John Hurt could play Batman. So, yeah, go.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've mostly seen him as an older man in like TV shows every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could imagine him doing that as a younger man.
And then one I'll throw in, just as a bit of support for an Oma man, a guy who grew up the road from me, even though he was in New Zealand for a while, but he was Northern Ireland. We still claim him, Sam Neill, which would have been.
Oh yeah,
I could buy that.
and he could have been with Richard Attenborough.
That would have been interesting, actually.
Just be another Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting. Imagine Spielberg sitting like years later in Jurassic Park. It's like, I can't team these two guys back up. That would be strange. But
It changes the whole universe.
Yeah,
I can see Sam Neill as Bruce. I'm trying to picture him as Batman, though. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can imagine it. I can imagine it myself.
But then, to be honest, if this movie didn't exist and someone at the time said, Michael Keaton's Batman, you'd be like, that's stupid.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I think that was the reaction at the time when they announced
It was.
Yeah.
And then the final one, because again, this list goes on and on, but the one I choose to end on, because I think he actually would have been a great choice, is, although I can't ever pronounce his name correctly, Michael Biehn? Kyle Reese. Yeah, Kyle Reese from Terminator. I'm like, yeah, he would have been. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, I imagine if Michael Bihn's out there, he was like, yes, I should have played Batman. But like, what have I got now? I was in that one Brittany Murphy movie, that slasher thing about 15 years ago. What have I done since? Nothing.
He never quite made it to stardom. Like, he was always kind of... He was in a lot of good movies in, like, the 80s and 90s, but never really the lead.
Yeah.
And,
You can imagine he must have been really frustrated with seeing the ascent of Arnie. Because it's like, why not me? I'm essentially... It's me and Linda Hamilton. That's the Terminator. He's the bad guy who's in about maybe 7 minutes of the movie. Like, it's... How am I not a big deal? But,
barely talks.
yeah.
And I'm just going to put it out there, but the Terminator sex scene, it's the most romantic sex scene. It's lovely. It's beautiful.
I think we've covered your love of that sex scene back during the Bruce Wayne Kim Basinger when we had a bit of the Batman theme on piano. I remember I made a note of it, like, I better bring up that Terminator scene because John's going to want to talk about that. But that was way back
Well,
when.
I can only make love when that's playing. So. It's a prerequisite.
I really love the idea, though, of you like living with other people and just like every time you just see like John disappearing up the stairs with some woman, and then people just hearing like the Terminator theme on piano playing. It's like, oh, someone's getting lucky up there.
He's up to it again.
No. In my case, that wouldn't have been happening.
Yeah. But anywho,
I say that I've had a partner for 12 years.
But I suppose we should get back to the minute maybe. Although like, there's not much to get back to. It is pretty much the bell falls into the archway and blocks off the cops. And and we had a brief shot of Batman when he was on. Just managed to duck out of the way, and then he jumps over to the remaining stairs and keeps on going. And that's it. That is about like the only other major note that I have myself is that, again, talk about several scenes that could have influenced this. One of the most notable ones apparently is the 1939 in particular version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is apparently both finales occur when in a bell tower, and Quasimodo climbs up the tower to rescue Esmeralda from Frollo in it. They both end with the hero sending the villain to his death, just and then from the tower top. And actually, the set design is quite similar. So again, I can imagine, Tim Burton probably like, like that the Hunchback from way back when. I'm gonna invest a little bit of that at him and Anton first, I'd imagine. So yeah, there's another little nod that's going on within the scene.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Classic movies referenced in this couple minutes.
That's very Tim Burton style, though, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
He always. Well, I was going to say he always goes for that kind of thing, but maybe not recently. We won't diss his recent movies.
Oh, again.
There's been enough about that.
Yeah. Too much negativity. We were all pulling for you, Tim. Come on, you can do it.
I'm actually not too sure. What is his next project? So you just keep assuming like, oh, he's probably doing
He's
like
doing
like an Addams
Dumbo,
Family.
right?
Oh, he is doing Dumbo. Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah. I forgot
That
about
sounds
that.
like the most frightening movie I could possibly imagine.
Right?
Is it live action?
Yeah, I think so, or whatever whatever like the Jungle Book was, I guess.
I know.
Oh right. Okay.
Will Smith's in it. And I think
Will Smith, yeah.
Really?
Dumbo.
I think maybe
Just don't
actually I'll
understand.
look this up. I think maybe Michael Keaton's in it. But,
Yes. I'm watching it now then.
I mean, I gotta watch it out of curiosity, but it just sounds. I never really liked Dumbo as a kid
Me
either.
either.
It was kind of just a weird, kind of
Creeped
frightening.
me out.
Yeah, cartoon.
let's see here. I'm just gonna get up the.
To be honest, just the fact that if someone says to you Tim Burton is doing a Dumbo movie, instantly I'm intrigued.
Oh.
I'm watching that.
I thought it'd be.
It's gotta be weird.
I got the.
It's just such a weird idea.
I got the old cast list up here, and actually it's a good
Okay.
list. Eva Green, which is a very typical like, because you can see like I remember certain people are cast in Tim Burton movies, and you're like, I get what's happened here, because you just
Yeah, she's been a couple.
yeah,
of
and
these.
you just tell like, oh, this very gothic looking woman, like big eyes, black hair, deathly thin and deathly pale. It's like this is totally now like him and Helena have split up. Eva Green's probably like. You never know. She could be the next Mrs. Tim Burton. And then I remember, was it in Big Eyes? He cast Kristen Ritter. I was just like, oh, I totally see what happened here, Tim. Because again, deathly thin, deathly pale, black hair, big, just goth-looking girl. I was like, you lay it on thick, man. You're not been subtle with this stuff. But yeah, Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito. So there we go. That's actually
Love me some Danny DeVito.
totally makes the film worth watching now. Like if those two share a scene, then I'm there.
Yeah, it's a big old reunion. And is Will Smith part of this? Is that
I
confirmed?
remember hearing, but he doesn't come up in the immediate Google search. But
Okay.
I remember hearing that Tim Burton, or not that Tim Burton, Will Smith was supposed to be in it. I don't know, maybe.
Well, and he's gonna be like the live action genie,
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah. As big.
Yeah.
No, he's not on the IMDb anymore. So unless he's dropped
Oh,
off. But,
wow.
yeah, I don't envy him that part either. Too doing the genie. That's too big of shoes to
Yeah,
fill that. Really.
it's a lose-lose situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he gonna do? Is like, do I have to amp this up and like be really Robin Williams like, or do I dial it back and then everyone will be like, well, he's not as fun as the Robin Williams one? And yeah, so
Yeah. I think they should have just gotten Shaquille O'Neal again. He's played a genie before. He knows how to do it.
oh yeah, totally. He'd be there to tell people to green eggs and ham it. So. But anywho, do you have any notes about this particular minutes left, or anything you want to bring
no,
up?
not really.
Oh no, actually, one little final note I will put in is that the Joker here almost kills Batman with a bell, and within the animated series, later on the episode Holiday Nights, there's a Batman versus story, New Year's storyline, in which the Joker is defeated by a giant bell landing on him. So reference. Potentially, or just like, yeah, we had a bell in the setup, so seemed a natural conclusion is for the bell to land on the Joker. But and he, because it's a cartoon, totally survives that, no problem. And if that bell had landed on Batman, I definitely would have killed him. But
Yes.
anyway, but yeah, I suppose this is usually the time we would ask the guests whether they have about their personal history with the film and with Batman the character in general. So whichever one of you two guys wants to go first, just have at it.
Yeah, I'll take it away. I saw this movie as a teenager, I think. I don't know. I guess I don't have that much a lot of interesting things to say about it. I remember liking it pretty well. I think I wasn't a comics reader at all as a teenager or a child, so I knew of Batman from pop culture, but this was probably the first time I had seen Batman in anything. I don't think I ever saw the animated series either. So I thought like, oh yeah, that was cool. Seen it a couple times. I remember really liking Jack Nicholson, and I liked the dance in the museum stuck out to me, and Yeah, and him hanging upside down. Those are sort of the things that I remember most from it.
All good stuff.
Yeah, thinking about like Batman in general, I guess like as I said, not a comics reader. When the Chris Nolan movies came out, that's sort of I got a little more interested in it. But yeah, I just kind of been going along with whatever movies there are. I do remember seeing. If you want to bring me back for Batman Returns, I might have more to say about that. That one I remember really getting into a lot. I thought it was just wonderfully weird.
Oh, yes. You sound exactly the same as me, because Batman Returns is my favorite one. I didn't read comics as a kid. I knew Batman as a movie character. I only really read the occasional comic after the Nolan movies as well. So we're almost identical here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got into Batman just from the films. But yeah.
From this movie, though, I saw this as a kid and loved it. But then I never sort of went from outside of that movie bubble.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jessa, do you have any personal history with this movie at all? Or?
So I forget just about every single movie I watch. It's pretty rare that I remember a movie I watch. So it wasn't until after we started watching the minutes, I was like, oh, I might have seen this.
Possibly.
But I don't remember anything about it except for maybe they ate dinner at one part, maybe.
Oh, yeah, the dinner scene.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Which was actually some fun minutes. We were worried about them at first.
No, those are. I like that part. It's a good bit where he's on the huge table and they're like 50 feet away from each other, and then he just takes it. Like, let's just go to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And you sound exactly like my partner, because she forgets everything we watch together.
Yes.
No, but it works really well, because then like 6 months later, well, let me just say, I'm the type of person who likes to just watch things over and over again. I've watched the same movie 3 times in a day once.
I can dig it.
So it's like 6 months later, I want to watch it again. And she's fine with that, because she's like, oh, I don't remember any of it.
Well, that's, yeah.
Like we watched The World's End the other day, the Simon Pegg movie. And we saw that in the cinema. And she didn't remember any of it. Like, she didn't remember that there were robots in it.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
So when the head came off, it was like watching it anew through her eyes. She was, oh my God.
Well, it drives Murren crazy, because he's like, we literally just watched that. He'd be like, that you say we did, but I don't even remember sitting down for it. That's just a black spot in my mind.
So if you say you remember a movie, that's like saying that's a 10 out of 10 movie.
No, that's just saying it's something stuck out.
So saying something. Okay, at least it was distinctive. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do remember watching, with other Batman movies.
Other Batman.
Yeah, other Batman. The Dark Knight, and I'm not really a superhero fan, but when I saw The Dark Knight, I remember sitting and I saw it in IMAX at that crazy kind of immersive thingy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience, but I also love Arnold Schwarzenegger, so him as the bad guy and that other Batman movie.
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the best Batman villain ever, and yeah, not
Joker. Was that what you were saying earlier? When
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, he's my favorite Batman.
Yeah,
villain.
he is, because he's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, we know what to invite you back for then.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that
Love
would be
to
the
talk about
best
Arnie.
minute ever. Yeah.
We're both big Arnie fans.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love everything about Arnie.
He's
Well, except having an illegitimate child, obviously.
Yes.
But I love everything about him in the acting world.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was really into that. Well, I'm going to say this will date the podcast. That relatively recent one, as of recording, it's only a few years old. Maggie, the zombie.
I haven't
one.
seen that one, but is that one worth seeing?
Oh, totally.
I really
Okay.
liked it, yeah.
Okay.
Because it was very different. It was very depressing and dark, though. It was a serious movie. There's no quips from Arnie in that one.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know if I could handle sad Arnold.
Yeah, if you're not in the mood for sad, don't put it on.
Okay, that's good to know.
I did
One other
do
thing
that more fun one where he actually he's really going out of his way to act in it as well. The Escape Plan one with him and Stallone get locked in a prison that Stallone's designed. And
we literally just bought that DVD not knowing what it was, but because it had Arnold and Stallone in it, we had to buy it.
Oh, no.
And, yeah.
It's a fun movie. It's like, and again, Arnie's actually pulling out the acting chops in it. Like, he's putting a lot of effort into certain scenes. You can go like, oh, he's here on a mission to be like, hey, I'm not just the funny quip action guy. I can be actor when I want. And my Arnie turned French there.
Is he Belgian now?
I don't know. He was turned in. He's possessed by Jean-Claude at the end there.
Oh,
Another one of our true loves.
Oh,
now I want to see like Face Off, but they switch faces and then they have to do each other's voices.
That'll be amazing.
Oh my god. And I also really want Van Damme as a Batman villain.
Yes.
yeah.
He would have even made a great Batman, but
It would have been a bit different. I would have Batman doing like really full-on martial arts.
Yeah.
Like, I know he does some kicks.
He
and
can do his own
things,
stunts and his own fighting.
yeah.
And make it look
We
really
would have
good.
been guaranteed splits, and we would have been
Yes.
guaranteed naked butt shots. So
But yes, and when he does the splits, it's got to really focus on the butt as well.
yes, yes, yeah.
It's a lot of buns going on in those movies.
Yeah.
Well, but the extra thing though of having to like him, the extra suspension of disbelief though, that people could meet Bruce Wayne and hear the accent and then hear Batman and not be like, that's Bruce Wayne. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger did that in plenty of movies where he plays just like John Matrix or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like
He's
he's always just, it's never addressed that he sounds like an Austrian man.
Yeah, he's always playing like a really American sort of guy as well, like Detective John Kimball. But you're not
Yeah.
called John Kimball.
wasn't in Jingle All the Way Howard. It's like there's no way that man's called Howard. It's
And what in The Running Man, he's Ben Richards.
yeah.
Oh God.
My one
We'll have
other-
to do a side podcast about these the hiatus episodes. Oh, but that's encroaching slightly on Mogwai minutes.
yeah, you're totally swiping the Mogwai minutes.
We'll do Van Damme instead.
Yeah.
Oh.
My one other interaction, I guess, with Batman is Murren and I's mutual really good friend is obsessed with Batman. Like they adapted all the comics into a play. They were obsessed with the cartoon.
Oh
They
yeah,
have, like,
and we were in that, weren't we? Mm-hmm. We were in a reading of a Batman play.
yeah, and then they have a
Amazing.
huge tattoo on the front of their forearm of Robin. So they love Batman. So that's my only other experience with Batman is through them.
No, that's great though, because we like having people from all different walks of life when it comes to Batman. Some people, barely seen it, so that's good.
Yeah.
We want those
and
opinions.
If you want a good guest who loves Batman, Avi Cool is the person we're talking about, and they were on our podcast, and they were fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for someone who can really get into Batman and has a good podcaster, even though they don't, you can get them over here maybe to use our equipment.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll fly him over, as we
Yes.
said. Always fly the guests over.
Yes.
Yes.
You can sleep on the couch. It's fine. But that does it for minute 105. And you can go off and enjoy your Friday. Have fun. Go into the weekend. Get drunk if that's your thing. Do whatever you want. Have fun. And we will be back on Monday. Would you guys like to tell our listeners one last time where they can find you online?
Yeah, we're on Point Break Minute. You can find the Point Break Minute Listeners Surf Shop on Facebook. You can find the podcast itself on iTunes or Google Play or anything else, really. I think that's how it works. And give us a good review. Or just subscribe or do whatever you want. We want listeners.
Yes, review them. Review us. It's helpful. We will all collectively give you a big hug. And I will give you a shout out on the show, which you might not want me to do. I don't know. Put that in the review if you don't want me to. People value their privacy these days.
People are very strange these days, John.
People are very strange these days, let me tell you. I knew a girl never mind. I'm not even going to quote that whole thing. I was going to go off on a whole Greg Sestero rant from the room, but no. We'll save that for another day. We will go and join us again Monday because we will have new minutes, new guests, new opinions and thoughts and exciting action. So see you then.
Next time, flips, dives, and feet knives A bell tower battle royale begins, but as our arch fiend unleashes his arsenal from the archways, will an acrobatic assault land arse first on the arena floor? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.